On your feet! Get them going!
Beef jerky. Beef jerky. I gotta take some calcium. Hold on a second. I haven't taken my calcium. Oh, I gotta take some K2 too. Because you know what? You need K2 to deliver your calcium from your bloodstream into your bones, which is where you need it. You don't need it in your bloodstream. Otherwise, you get plaquing, heart attacks, all that fun stuff. Delicious. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be where you live on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Once again, I am your host, Mike S. Miller, calling in from sunny San Diego, California, here to talk about the Bible and all things faith with you, my friends. Let us welcome those who got here bright and early. Devil's Air, what is up, Darth? Darth Plagueis, Drake, Tungsten, Arlene, Edkinsell, Storytime Friends, our good friend Edwin, who points out that, yes, in fact, frogs are definitely plaguish. Darth Plagueis. Melissa, what is up, young lady? DJ Peterson into his house. And Tina rolling all in there. Arlene, I said Arlene already, right? Yes, I did. Right? Yes? No? I'll say it again. And did I miss anybody? Did I miss Dark Admiral Marchhair? Did I say that already? I don't know who I said and who I haven't. It's the fellowship. The fellowship is always here. So welcome, one and all. Today we'll be discussing Exodus chapter 8 and the plagues of Egypt. The plagues of Egypt. I mentioned yesterday. What did I mention yesterday? Oh yeah, I mentioned yesterday how the secularists tried to explain away how the 10 plagues happened. But there's another interesting point of fact about the 10 plagues that would probably have the secularists trying to come up with other excuses. Honestly, it's just what they do. And it is that the 10 plagues of Egypt correlated very specifically to the gods of Egypt. As some people try to play it off and say that they don't, but I'm going to go ahead and read it off to you because I knew this from before, but I just went ahead and asked Grok. Grok is a great Bible study resource because it has access to everything, and you don't have to look it up. And you could look it up to double check, but usually it's pretty spot on. Yes, AI does lie, so be careful with that. Don't be writing report papers on this stuff. But so far it's been good to me. And let me go to that tab and read this to you. So the 10 plagues and the gods of Egypt that the Egyptians worshipped. So this can very much be seen as God through Moses and Aaron directly attacking the faith of the people of Egypt, and particularly, obviously, of Pharaoh himself. Devil's Air says there is a parchment in a museum where you have the 10 plagues or the 10 or 12 lines. I don't know which museum again. There's yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what museum either. But let's see. All right, so the blood of the Nile. This plague targeted Osiris, the god of fertility, vegetation, and agriculture, whose life was metaphorically connected to the Nile. It also challenged Hapi, the god of the Nile's annual flooding, and Khnum, guardian of the Nile. The frogs. The plague of frogs was a direct insult to Heket, the frog goddess, associated with fertility and childbirth, showing the impotence of this deity when the sacred animal became a nuisance. Lice or gnats. This plague might have aimed at Geb, the earth god, possibly Thoth, the god of wisdom, since priests were unable to replicate or control this plague. Flies. The swarm of flies demonstrated the powerlessness of Capri, the beetle-headed god associated with creation and the sun, and other protective deities like Sekhmet, the goddess of healing. Livestock. The plague attacked Hathor, often depicted as a cow, and Apis, another bull deity, both symbols of fertility and Why are they all symbols of fertility? Huh? Fertility? Anyways. And agricultural prosperity. Boils. It was seen as a strike against Sekhmet, the goddess of medicine and epidemics, showing her, they had a god for everything, didn't they? Showing her inability to protect against or heal these afflictions. Hail. This plague was a direct challenge to Nut, the sky goddess, and Seth, god of storms and chaos, showing their lack of control over the elements. Locusts. Locusts were a symbol of devastation, potentially directed at Geb again, or Min, the god of fertility. Another bloody... highlighting the inability of these gods to protect the harvest. Darkness. This plague explicitly targeted Ra, the sun god, by enveloping Egypt in darkness, thereby challenging Ra's dominion over light and life. Death of the... I'm going to plug in my phone. Squirrel, my phone's not charging. Death and the firstborn. The final plague was a devastating blow against all Egyptian gods, particularly Isis, protector of children, and Pharaoh, considered a divine figure himself, showing that not even the highest Egyptian society were safe from divine judgment of Yahweh. Let's go. That's it. So I know the battle. It's the battle of the fertiles. It's like fertility was a real important thing there. It's almost like sex sells, right? Because what is that about? What is that about? Well, you got to sacrifice to your gods, right? If all your gods are about fertility, where's your money going? Just like how Catholics have a saint for everything. Yeah. And Hindus have 3 million gods? I mean, they probably have a god for, plastic bags. I have no idea. They got a god for everything too. And I mean, obviously Egypt didn't have that many gods. I was being a little facetious. But you know who has the most gods out of all the religions in the world? Don't make me say it. Someone in the chat say it. Thanks for the reminder, Mike. Got to plug my phone in too. The Hindu god of plastic bags is banned in California. No, that's the Hindu god of plastic straws. He could have just listened to Moses and done blood of a lamb on his door. He could have. He wasn't really good at listening to Moses, although it was Aaron speaking. So, Infinite Seeker, what's up? Sup. Oh, DJ, really? You're gonna go there? You're gonna go ahead and just spit it out there, right there? Yep, that's true. Gods. Mormons are in fact the religion with the greatest number of gods in all of the known universe, because they believe in infinite gods. And we're not talking like a god for everything. It's everyone becomes a god, I guess, eventually, because you have eternal progression, right? So if you have eternal progression eternally, and you're eternally progressing, eventually everyone becomes a god. Is that the math? That's the math, right? Battlestar Galactica says Storytime with Friends. Yes, that's... I'm not really sure how Battlestar Galactica... Oh, yeah, because they're from Kobol. They're from Kobol, huh? Kobol, I believe, is the planet on which the god of our universe resides, because it's much easier to keep an eye over your creation when you're on a planet billions of light years away. Anyways, infinite gods. That's a lot of fertility going on. I know, right? They are all gods of fertility. My Mormon friend says that she will become a god. Well, she's a good Mormon, Arlene, because they should all admit it. If they don't admit it, then they're not very honest Mormons. Dang, that was a good impression, Mike, of Edwin. Pretty spot on. Thank you. That's not the math, but that's math at least. But don't do math, but do math. It gets confusing. What? Matt Barr, what? What's up, Matt Barr? Yes, indeed. Are you saying what to Mormons believe everyone becomes a god for their own planet? Not their own universe. Actually, I think they're a little wishy-washy on whether it's their own planet or their own universe. But from the actual sources I've been able to find, it's just their own planet because the universe itself is infinite. So the universe is infinite, never had a beginning, never has an end, and the number of gods go all the way back infinitely. There's no beginning, so you can't say it started. There's just always been gods begetting gods, infinitely, infinite gods, and everyone gets to be one eventually. Otherwise, eternal progression doesn't make any sense either. Again, math. Are you serious? LMAO, I can't see that ending well. It doesn't end, Dark Admiral. There's no end. It is infinite. I don't mean to mock. It's funny when people, oh my gosh, Hindus have 3 million gods. Bro, that ain't even getting started. Fractal gods. I'm sorry. Fractal gods. That's right, Edwin. Fractal gods. Right? Am I right? Well, that's all I had for today, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we could just get right to the scripture. This will be a short episode if I'm just jumping right into the scripture this early. Do we want to talk about Bitcoin going back over $100,000? No, let's not do that. How about Squid Grow hitting $81 million today? Don't say I didn't tell you. I told you. Do your own research. I am not a financial advisor, although, once again, had you taken my not financial advice over the last 7 years, you'd be in a good place. Jeff says, I don't want to be a god. It's hard enough having 2 kids as is. Correct. Also, yes, Ethereum. This is a new one. Ethereum hit $4,000. And it's only $500 away from all-time highs. And then we are into price discovery. I believe that once we hit price discovery on Ethereum, we might have a nice little run. What do you speculate, Edwin? 6,000, 8,000, 10,000? What's the run going to take us to before we do a solid correction this time? Dark Admiral says, I'm glad that's not true, or my luck, I'd be the god of turnips or something lame. No, you get to be your own God the Father. You get to be your own, the way we think of God as our Heavenly Father. That's why they always call him Heavenly Father. They don't call him, well, they do call him God, but they call him Heavenly Father because that's what you aspire to be. Now, unfortunately, if you're a woman, you don't get your own universe. You get to be some gods, one of some other gods, many goddess wives. It is your job to birth the billions of people in your planet who you will be unmentioned by, unnamed, because you're one of many goddess mothers who gets no love or attention from your followers. So sorry, ladies, while you will be some kind of a goddess, nobody's going to care about you. Nobody's going to worship you. Nobody's going to give 2 thoughts about you. Sorry. That's Mormonism. It's just the way it works. Just the way it works. What kind of crappy religion is that? Hey, I didn't make it up. Thanks, Mormonism. Wee. Mike, were you one of the investors for that Haktua coin mess? I was not. I'm not a big investor into the meme coin casino. And actually, one of the websites that created that was pumping out, like, you know, anybody could go on there and create a meme coin in about 15 minutes. So there was like 20,000 meme coins being created a day. I think that got shut down today. So yay. They're I mean, 99.9999% of those things are just going to be absolutely worthless. Anybody could have done it, and unless it's so, and then spending the money to create one, it's not free to create a meme coin because you have to add liquidity and you do it. Anyways, that's creating a meme coin is almost as much of playing the lottery as just as buying meme coins, right? There are certain meme coins. Look, here's the thing. Certain memes are going to take off. As soon as Peanut the squirrel got right into my brain, I'm like, there's going to be a meme coin for this because it is a cultural event and it's going to skyrocket. I should probably find it. I should probably buy it. I went. I found it. And my aversion to just throwing money at meme coins kicked in. And I'm like, I'm not going to buy this. I wish I had bought that. But it is what it is. Could be the potato god. That's true. No thanks. I'm not qualified for that, says Dark Admiral Marchhair. I'm not an awful person, but I'm definitely not perfect. Definitely a sinner. Well, right. That's why you go through the process of eternal progression. And eventually, because you are progressing eternally, you will reach the state of perfection by which you will become glorified and become a god. Eternal progression. Okay. Storytimer Friend says, so there are infinite number of sandwiches being made across the Mormon verse. Yes, but none of the woman wife, multi-wife gods get thanked for their sandwiches. Oh, I'm convinced now. That is true, Edwin. All right. And again, like I know to you and I, this sounds very, very funny and peculiar. But look, to our dear friend Matthew Weldon, to my friend Shad, to all my other Mormon friends who might be out there in the wide world. Yeah, it is weird. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but it is weird and has no basis. Anyways, that might very well be the biggest reason to join Mormonism. Oh, to become a god? I mean, if it was true, why not? I get to become a god someday. And I'll have many subservient goddess wives who no one's going to care about because that's the way it. We do still love Weldon. I love Weldon with all my heart. I pray for him that he wakes up from this cult. Cult in the true sense of the word, meaning a false Christian derivation. One Sneak says all plagues could be scientifically proven except for the death of the firstborns. We actually covered that yesterday. One Sneak. Yeah, the blood or the red tide begets the frogs leaving the river, begets the blah blah blah. How the frogs leave the river lead to the lice, I don't remember what the scientific explanation was for it. But If you go back to the early part of this, the correlation to the gods of Egypt is the one extra layer on that parfait that takes some extra explaining to do. Tina says, I'll just get a set of the magic underwear. Let's not talk about the magic underwear again. But let's. See, nowadays, we wear t-shirts. People wear, in the good old days of Joseph Smith, a t-shirt was an undergarment. And no one went out. No respectable person went outside wearing just a t-shirt and their boxers. Oh my. In fact, I don't think anyone but children went out in shorts. So, hail Jesus, hail student of God. But nowadays, t-shirts and even shorts are common outerwear. Some people go commando. I don't want to talk about that. No. But so it sort of made sense in a Joseph Smith era to say that, well, in a sense of modesty, you should always wear a t-shirt and underwear. But my t-shirt and underwear are going to be magic so that you have to buy them from the church. Something like that. I don't know. I didn't delve that deeply into the t-shirt underwear thing, the Mormon, the golden underwear, magic underwear, whatever. I'm sure they don't call it magic underwear. They just call it like something. Anyways, but nowadays we wear this. But you're not allowed. So if you want to wear, if I'm a Mormon and I want to wear my Teflon Don t-shirt, I have to wear my t-shirt over my t-shirt. So I have to layer my underwear over my underwear. Because this isn't, but because we don't use this as underwear anymore. It's the year 2024. People, everyone I know will just wear a t-shirt. Especially in warm climates. Poor Matthew Weldon lives in Texas. I told this story when he picked me up from the airport for that crypto convention. He picked me up for the airport. It's only like 78 degrees, 80 degrees maybe, and we're going out for lunch. And I'm like just cool and chilling, and I'm like, yeah, man, it's not that bad today. He's sweating bricks. And it didn't dawn on me that he's sweating bricks because he's wearing multiple layers of clothes in Texas. And I'm like, bro, it's nice out now. Can you imagine when it gets 100 degrees in Texas and poor Weldon's out there wearing layers of clothes? Because, and he admits it. He's like, yeah, it's not good being a Mormon in Texas. Yeah. The magic underwear is actually called temple garments. But they don't just wear it in the temple. But do you have to buy it at the temple? Is that the scam? You know, the Mormon church is actually the richest church, I think, on earth. They have like $500 billion in their bank just sitting there because they get 10% from all of their members. Come hell or high water, they get 10%. Ain't no Mormons out there going, oh, I'm not going to give my 10%, because then they'd be like, I'm not doing all my works. Look, this isn't. I'm not here to do a whole Mormon show. How did we even get on this topic? Oh, yeah, because they're the most polytheistic religion in the history of the planet. Let's see. Ain't Australia the land of Mormons, or do I have that wrong? No, that's Utah, Devil's Air. Utah. They can't be richer than the Vatican. Ooh, that's a very good point. I'm going to do a real quick search. Who has more money? The Mormon Church or the Catholic Church? You're probably dead on right. I'm sure you're right, actually. All right, so Latter-day Saints has been reported to have an investment portfolio estimated around $100 billion, with some sources suggesting it could be close to $265 billion, considering all assets, including real estate, stocks, and other investments. The Catholic Church globally is estimated to have assets ranging widely due to the vast decentralized structure. Some sources suggest the Catholic Church in Germany alone might have assets from 47 billion to 265 billion. However, these figures vary significantly, and when considering the global Catholic Church, the wealth is spread across numerous countries, dioceses, and religious orders, making total estimates challenging. So, all right. Yeah, that I was, call it one for the chat. Catholic Church. Catholic Church has the most money. But as far as the kingdom of the cults goes, Mormons, hands down. And yeah, it's considering the size. Well, actually, let's do that. How many wealth comparison methods? I think it would be then the per capita. Like, how many Mormons are there on Earth? There's 17 million Mormons. How many Catholics? There's more than 17 million Catholics in California are there on Earth. There are 1.39 billion baptized Catholics worldwide. So, yeah, I think per capita, Mormons take the cake. Probably, because not everybody in the Catholic Church tithes. A lot of people in the Catholic Church, they probably see that collection plate coming by and they go, "Oh, well, I've got $5 in my pocket. Here you go." But you got 17 billion people giving you 10% of their income, and then all the people that work for the church don't get paid except for some of the higher up muckety mucks, and they pretend that they don't get paid, but they totally get paid. They're full of crap. I showed this stuff to Weldon too. I spent a lot of time in back rooms with Weldon trying to explain to him what his church actually does and teaches. It's been interesting. Drake says, can't be Catholic if you're not baptized, I think. I need that baptized. I don't have the baptized. Ramsey's number one. He knows the secrets of desire.
Ramsey's number one. He knows.
I can't do it.
I don't know why you always have to be judging me. Because I only believe in science.
Baptized. I love that movie. I just watched it last week. Arlene says, staggering to think of all the money and resources are held by Mormons, Scientologists, Vatican, Jehovah's Witnesses, etc. Imagine all the things Samaritan's Purse could do with that money. Well, I do want to say, oh no, you said, well, the Vatican, the Catholic Church does, for all the ills, for all the stuff we disagree with, the Catholic Church does a lot of good charities. I will never dismiss that. So it's not like they just sit on it. I'm sure, I don't know. I'm of two minds about this because I know they do a lot of good. God bless them for the good that they do. And God, the Bible says when you do good, when you do something basically in the will and person of God, not person of, but in the, what do you call it? Personality. When you do something that is a gift of God, like love, charity, blah, 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 you are acting through God. I can't remember the exact phraseology. Someone can look it up. But so there is good being done by the Catholic Church. I'm not going to never dismiss that. But I don't know. I got like this weird feeling. I walked through the Vatican and I'm like, I was a little bit disgusted. I mean, I can get that same kind of feeling in a megachurch, but the Vatican is like a megachurch on super crack steroids, right? I mean, that place is like, it's insane. If you've ever been to the Vatican, it is the most insane building I've ever walked through in my life. There's nothing like it. And it's just the wealth on display there. I don't know if maybe they're trying to emulate the temple, but the temple of God was housed the Ark of the Covenant. It housed what was meant to be the presence of God. It was the presence of God. That's why they would tie a rope to the people, because if they did something that God displeased, God would just snap them dead right there. You don't get that in the Vatican. The Vatican is a place for priests and whatever, priests and popes and pibbity pops. Oh, by the way, JDA said he'd like to come on when he has more time. Oh, based. All right. Student of God says a wild story is the Catholic Church in China and China not allowing them to put the real Bible in the country. Yeah, there's the Bible. There's like an edited version of the Bible that the Chinese government allows, right? Like it's like the Chinese Communist Bible or something like that, if I recall correctly. IRC. That's right, Vatican. Mike is never going to give you up or let you. I don't know what that means. Anyways, yeah, so I just felt weird being in that building with so much wealth, where I'm like, because I was sitting there thinking, you know what, as I was going through Italy and we were going to these places, we'd go to traditional Italian home restaurant. We went to this one traditional Italian home restaurant where they only sold what they called traditional Italian food, which was peasant food. You know what you got with the peasant food? I got intestine of a suckling calf on pasta. It had milk in the intestine. And the point was, I don't think I even ate it. I think that was just too far for me. But all the peasant food was intestines and the crap you don't find at the butcher, you know? Why? Because all the good meat went to the Vatican. All the good meat went to the priests and the politicians. And all the leftovers went to the people. The pipples. The pipples. So, yeah, I don't care for innards. I do I like chicken innards. Gizzards? I love gizzards. Peasant food was the stuff no one wanted. It wasn't what no one wanted. It's what they couldn't get. I mean, it's what they could get because the good meat went to the Vatican. This was in Rome, by the way. So I'm sure if you lived out in Florence or something, you know what? Your food probably still went to the church. I mean, the good food probably still went to the church. But you'd have to be like out in the woods on your own farm, slaughtering your own cows to get a good slice of beef. It's my friend Ben lives in Eastern Europe, and he's like, man, it is nigh impossible to get a cut of beef around here. He's a carnivore, so he's like just desperately wanted beef. And it's a cultural thing now, I guess, and that's all because of that issue. It's everybody eats pork there, and chicken heart is great. The rest not so good. Some of it is. What, I don't know what the crunchy part is, the crunchy thing. I don't know what innard the crunchy thing is, but you just go get it gizzards. I don't think there's liver in there. I think they take the liver out separately. I hate chicken liver. I hate any liver. I should eat it because it's so full of nutrients, but and the stuff no one wanted went to the people who actually made it. Those were mighty tasty entrails. Yeah. So anyways, that just correlated my mind with like, okay, you've got the people are out here and they're eating the leftovers in the garbage, which honestly is probably healthier for you than the actual meat, just maybe. And then you've got your pope and your pontiffs and your people that start with P's, priests, and they're all feasting on prime rib and short ribs and carne asada. They're eating all the good stuff, sitting in their enormous palace. I don't know, man. That doesn't reflect Christian living to me. Look, my pastor is very open. He's and they determined back when they started the church, he would never make more than a school teacher. So that's his salary. His salary is commiserate with like a school teacher of his age, and so that to me is more the humility of God. The rest of the money should go to the ministries the church does, right? Bible, yay, yes. All this food talk, make me hungry for some Bible. I was trying to get to it, but someone distracted me, and I blame you, the chat. King James Bible Online. We are today in Exodus chapter 8, which I should have had queued up, but I didn't because, well, just because I didn't, okay? If you have a problem with that, take it up with someone else. Sharing screen, Exodus chapter 8. It was probably my fault, says DJ Peterson. Well, thank you for falling on your sword, sir. It all started when I said Mormons. That's true. I was about to get to the Bible. I was right about to get there. I didn't think a school teacher budget could live in California on their own. We have plenty of school teachers here who live on their own. I don't know what the school, but he's older than I am, so however long, school teachers do get raises. It's not like he's a starting teacher, you know what I'm saying? My legion of squirrels. Hey, Caleb Chachelli's here. Hey, what's up, buddy? Chachelli. All right, Exodus chapter 8. And the Lord spake unto Moses, Go unto Pharaoh and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs, and the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up and come into thine house, and into thy bedchamber, upon thy bed, and into the house of thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thine ovens, and into thy kneading troughs. Ugh. That is way too many frogs. DJ says, in Edwin voice, we got the real deal in chat. Edwin cannot join today because his wife is using the computer. So, sorry, I'll have to be your Edwin today. And the frog shall come up both on thee, and upon thy people, and upon all thy servants. And the Lord spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron. I don't know why I have to do this. That's the wrong Aaron. I was going to do, hey, Aaron.
Aaron.
Say unto
Aaron.
Stretch forth thine hand with thy rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds, and cause frogs to come up on the up upon the land of Egypt. And Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. And the magicians did so with their enchantments, and brought up frogs upon the land of Egypt. Okay, what? Weren't they already? Did this make things any better? Would not it have made more sense if Pharaoh was like, magicians, why don't you send the frogs back into the river? This would make more sense for me. No. The magician said, we could do that too. Look, we're making those frogs come up. First of all, how do you know that wasn't just the frogs that God was already sending? I think if you want to counteract this miracle of God with your gods, you've got to like reverse the frogs, and if you're controlling the frogs, you're not doing the same thing God is doing and bringing more frogs. You're like, okay, no, it's enough with the frogs. Let's just push these frogs back with my magical powers. So I think that was a little bit of fraud on the part of the magicians, if I had to speculate. Devil's Air says, nice 10 Commandments clip. Thank you very much. I've got more.
So let it be written. So let it be done.
They're turning the frogs gay. Mike has a fun Pharaoh voice. I am trying to do. Oh no, that's Dracula. Stop! Oh my gosh, squirrels. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat the... Now I'm doing Dracula. Entreat the Lord that he take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may do sacrifice unto the Lord. Liar. And Moses said unto Pharaoh, glory over me. When shall I entreat for thee and for thy servants and for thy people to destroy the frogs from thee and thy houses, that they may remain in the river only? And he said, tomorrow. And he said, be it according to thy word, that thou mayest know that there is none like unto the Lord our God. In other words, when you want this to happen, so that I can prove to you that it's not by happenstance, but that it is by the hand of the Lord God. Right? Because if it just happened by happenstance, like, oh look, it's over now. Your God didn't do that. That was all just a coincidence. Right? But no. He said, when do you want this to happen? Put a timeline on it. Tomorrow. All right. And the frogs shall depart from thee, prophetic, and from thy house and from thy servants and from thy people, and shall remain in the river only. And Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried unto the Lord because of the frogs which he had brought against Pharaoh. I get the feeling like Moses like really lamented all these plagues. You know, like, yeah, I know God's doing it. I know it has to be done, but it's causing so much suffering. I don't want to see it. Because remember, Moses, I would very much speculate that this guy was Moses's stepbrother, adopted brother, because he is the son of the Pharaoh who Moses escaped from. Pharaoh's daughter Pharaoh was his granddaughter. So anyways, regardless, I very much think this relationship would have been real. That Pharaoh, either as, let's see, son, daughter. I mean, they very much probably grew up together. So he very much probably lamented this. I know it doesn't state it like that Pharaoh was raised with Moses, but it really, if you're growing up in Pharaoh's household, you're going to grow up with Pharaoh's kids. That's how else would it work? And the Lord did according to the word of Moses, and the frog died out of the houses, out of the villages, and out of the fields. And they gathered them together upon heaps, and the land stank. You know how when frogs take over an area, they just start to stink up the place? Rabbit's back. Rabbit is listening, I think, at 1.5 speed to the rest of it to try to catch up to where we are now. But when Pharaoh saw there was respite, he hardened his heart. He hardened his own heart and hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. And the Lord said unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch out thine rod and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt. Again, I don't know. I don't remember watching that documentary how this went from dead frogs to a bunch of lice. I don't know. And I don't have time to look it up. So we're going to deal with it now. Sorry. And they did. So for Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man and in beast. All the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. Oh, you know what? Now that would be speculation. Never mind. And the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not. So there were lice upon man and upon beast. Honestly. Oh, gnats, Buddy Rabbits. You're saying it's gnats, not lice. Yeah, that's a curiosity, isn't it? Let's see. Let's go to the Blue Letter Bible. Because, lice is something different. Exodus 8. Go. That it may become lice. Cain. Ken? Pronunciation is Cain. Gnat. A gnat. Lice. Meaning dubious. Either gnats, gnat swarm, or lice. Plural, maggots. Absolute, perhaps. Yeah, okay, so gnats. I don't know. Why did the King James use lice? Curious why they maybe during the time King James was being translated, there was a big problem with lice in England. I have no idea. It does make more sense. Thank you, Buddy Rabbit, for Cain. Eat the bugs. Yeah, okay, so that would make sense because the maggots from the rotting corpses of the frogs would, yeah, okay. Okay. Then the magician said unto Pharaoh, this is the finger of God. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. And the Lord said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he cometh forth to the water, and say unto him, thus saith the Lord, let my people go, that they may serve me. Else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon thee, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thy houses, and the houses of the Egyptians, where shall be full of swarms of flies, on also the ground whereon they are. Maybe that's why they translated it lice, because gnats are like teeny tiny flies, right? And then these would be just like, I don't know, house flies or horse flies or whatever. Man, freaking horse flies. Those, this is disgusting. I hate the very thought of horse flies. Have you seen like horse flies that are like 3/4 of an inch big? Whoa! And they bite, and they're gross. There's like no more disgusting. Cockroaches don't bother me as much as horseflies do. Ugh. Oh, what if they're those flies that leave the freaking the plant? What are those flies called? The ones that leave that will plant. Oh, wait. What's the next one? Swarm of flies. No. Is the next one boils? Bot flies. I agree, Mike. I'd take cockroaches over horse flies. Yeah, bot flies. Oh, gross. So disgusting. I'm going to make myself sick just thinking about those things. There's a stand in the Pharaoh, let my people go. Send flies. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen. Hold on, I gotta go. What's next? Is it livestock disease? What if the livestock disease was caused like by do bot flies attack that, and then boils could also be bot fly. Ugh, gross. I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick. Ugh. So gross me out so much. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen in which my people dwell, that no swarm of flies shall be there. To the end thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. That's an interesting point. So the land of Goshen is southeast of Cairo, Egypt proper, right? No, yes, southeast. And there were no flies there. I mean, obviously it's to protect the Jews because that's where they lived. But I wonder what their scientific explanation is for why they wouldn't be there. I don't think any of the plagues would bother them there, right? Anyway, and I will put division between my people and thy people. Tomorrow shall this sign be. And the Lord did so, and there came a grievous swarm of flies into the house of Pharaoh and into his servants' houses, and to all the land of Egypt. The land was corrupted by reason of the swarm of flies. And Pharaoh called for Moses and for Aaron and said, Go ye sacrifice to your God in the land. And Moses said, It is not meet to do so to do, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to the Lord our God. Lo, shall we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, and will they not stone us? We will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God as he command us. And Pharaoh said, I will let you go that ye may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness. Only ye shall not go very far away. Entreat for me. And Moses said, Behold, I go out from thee, and I will entreat the Lord that the swarm of flies may depart from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people tomorrow. But let not Pharaoh deal deceitfully any more in not letting the people go to sacrifice to the Lord. But he knew he would. And Moses went out from Pharaoh and entreated the Lord. And the Lord did according to the word of Moses. And he removed the swarms of flies from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. There remained not one. And Pharaoh hardened his heart at this time also. Neither would he let the people go. Pharaoh hardened his heart. Pharaoh hardened his own heart. Oops, that's all right. I'm just playing with Buddy. We strive for accuracy in the chat. Were they oozing pus-filled boils? What other kind of boils are there? And is that what? I don't know. I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to look up what a freaking botfly thing looks like, because I've seen it before. And yeah, it looks like a boil. So maybe that is the whole thing. Oh gosh, that's disgusting. Freaking botflies and horseflies. I hate flies. I hate all flies. I don't care what size fly you are. If you're a little tiny black winged thing, you disgust me. You know what I hate too? I hate the flies that pretend they're bees. Have you seen these flies? They're flies, but they got little yellow and black striped butts. And they're like, hey, look, I'm just a bee. Be nice to me. And you're like, bro, you're a fly. An elephant fly? I always wondered if perhaps a housefly is called a housefly because it's very often in your house. A horsefly is called a horsefly because they are often found amongst the horses. Dragonfly. Think about it. Think about it. Bee flies. Seen bees? I like dragonflies. They eat mosquito larvae. Yes. Well, dragonfly larvae eat mosquito larvae, right? Dragonfly larvae are kind of cool looking things. I can dig on them. We used to have a dragonfly larva in our little, I had this tiny little koi pond outside of the entry. And there was a dragonfly larva in there, and I thought it was just so cool. I was like, oh, I can't wait for this to turn into a dragonfly. And all my little koi were in there. And then one day I came outside, all my koi were gone. But you know what was there? Right next to my itty bitty koi pond? Big pile of scales. Apparently raccoons quite enjoy the taste of koi. Dragonflies. Maybe they're called dragonflies because they used to be about the size of dragons. I understand they found giant fossils of them. Or maybe they used to fly around the dragons. Which would be the case considering dragons are oft described in water, and dragonflies are oft described, are not often seen around water. So dragonflies also eat ladybugs. I don't like that about them, but they do eat other pests too. Dragonflies are awesome. Any way you cut it. No, my answer is bad. You hush, Henry. You know your place in the chat, son. No, you couldn't. A dragonfly could not be the size of a dragon, man. That's just outside of the scope of possibility. I have heard they had dragonflies that were like 3 feet wide or something like that. Still, that would be a very petite dragon. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Raccoons are opportunistic scavengers, but they're so cute too. They're trash pandas. I know. If we leave I've heard 6-foot wingspans. All right. Well, that could be about the size of a smaller winged dragon. Those small, like pterodactyl type things. Those were reported in England and in Babylon. Around the world, really. Flying dragons, winged serpents. It's weird how they were all over the planet. I wonder why. I wonder how they were all over the planet if they didn't really exist. Jeff Potts says, I've heard 13-foot wingspans. Would you stop? You're making stuff up. They were bigger because more oxygen in the atmosphere. Yes. And denser atmosphere probably too. Probably. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it. We've got 30 seconds left. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss anyone? No, I did not. So that's it for today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. God bless us all. Oh, hey, Squid Grow. It's taking a little dip down to $77 million market cap. Why don't you go ahead in there and not take my financial advice and get yourself a bag. Anyways, that's it for me. God bless you all. See you all in the next exciting episode of Cross examinations.
Back in line, you dog! On your feet! Get them going!